Let's call a spade a spade. Look, there is a spade, but coming out of WrestleMania 36, it's kind of hard to figure out who exactly is going to get a push and who's not going to get a push in World Wrestling Entertainment. Usually, you can be quite a good judge of this depending on what happened at the Showcase of the Immortals, but obviously with no crowd and we had all those cinematic things like AJ Styles. How can AJ Styles get a big push after WrestleMania 36? Because the character of AJ Styles is dead. But that doesn't mean that we can't go up into here, into our brains, and try and figure this out. And that's what I want to do today, because my name is Simon Miller, and these are 10 people who are gonna get the biggest pushes of all time after WrestleMania 36. Little asterisk, little note, hyperbole. Number 10, Rob Gronkowski. I know, you don't want to hear it, you're mad at me, but don't get mad at me. I'm just the messenger. But look, there's two things here that kind of sum this up. One, Gronkowski is a massive mainstream star. He absolutely kicked ass in the National Football League, and WWE is probably doing backflips that they actually have him on their books. But number two, it was proven at WrestleMania 36. He was the host wearing his weird ski jacket, and by the time the double nights was done, who was the new 24/7 champion? It was Gronk, and he probably just danced his way to his house. So while I'm sure we'll start with some kind of program between him and Mojo Rawley, it wouldn't surprise me if eventually he leaves behind the 24/7 European 7-Eleven Championship and goes on to bigger things. In fact, if by SummerSlam the world is operating as it used to do, I can see Gronk being in a big celebrity match, doubly so because we didn't get our big celebrity match at WrestleMania 36. And not only was Gronk meant to be a part of one, but so was Tyson Fury. So put on your worried caps, because this is about to happen. Number 9, Heavy Machinery. There are 3 reasons why I think Otis and Tucker are about to get a good kick up the backside. I mean that in a positive way. One, again, if you look at WrestleMania 36, Otis not only beat Dolph Ziggler in, I guess, what you could call his first proper feud, but he also got the girl. He got Mandy Rose. And you don't do all of that and then forget about it. You make nerds like me really, really mad. But also, if we start looking at the SmackDown Tag Team division, there is a huge gap. Again, in the build-up to WrestleMania 36, you had the Usos and the New Day joking, well, we're always going to wrestle for the Tag Team Championships because there's nobody else to do it. Well, there is. One's called Otis, one called Tucker. Together they become Heavy Machinery, and I genuinely think, even without an audience or live audience, they have a connection with the crowd. I certainly like them more than I did 12 months ago, and I don't think I'm alone. And number 3, this all ties in to number 1 and 2. Both these dudes have been getting better and better every single week, and that deserves to be rewarded. So, I mean, you don't have to break them up or split them up or do anything crazy. If you want to push Otis as a single star for a little bit, that's cool. But also, make sure they have a decent run as a SmackDown Tag Team Championships. They deserve it, and again, makes me happy. That's what you can do as a wrestling fan. If something makes you happy, you win, and if something makes you sad, you lose. Heavy Machinery, make me heavy. Number 8, Sonya Deville. Right, surely WWE, you've teased this before, and you have to do it now. How are we not about to get a Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose feud? And if you're watching this years into the future, if we didn't get the Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose feud, please leave a comment below and tell old Simon what the hell happened. But honestly, when you focus on Deville, she is really good and vastly not only underrated, but underutilized by the WWE. And I guess there's going to be some kind of pairing between her and Dolph Ziggler, which will eventually lead to those two going against Mandy Rose and Otis, but it's all right. We'll get through it to the other side. But when all is said and done, make everything I just said about Heavy Machinery do with Sonya Deville. She can be a really, really good heel. Again, she's much better in the ring than people pretend otherwise. And I think she's got her character down. And that goes for Mandy Rose too, but she's been in a bigger role than Sonya Deville. And by the end of 2020, if you want to make Sonya Deville the SmackDown Women's Champion, I genuinely believe there's a little bit of the Ronda Rousey about her. And what I mean by that is someone that you just fear when you look at them like, man, she gonna kick my ass. And you need that in WWE. It's called legitimacy. Number 7, Sasha Banks. Now, Sasha Banks has been pushed in the past, of course, but it looks like we're about to turn her face once again, and she's entering Big Show levels when we're talking about that. And feud her against Bayley, which you would presume ends with, after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches, whatever you want to do, with Sasha Banks, the boss, becoming the brand new SmackDown Women's Champion. Good. And of course, if we are going to get there, not only do we need this face turn, but we need to see Banks turn on her best friend and that is just going to light a fire under the crowd, and you don't do that without pushing her up the card. You see, it's really easy when you break it down. It's like wrestling maths. And she should become a bigger part of the women's division anyway. I mean, she's been doing fine as it is, but when you're in a bit of a double act, but you're not a tag team, essentially right now Sasha Banks is playing second fiddle because Bayley is the champion. So we can switch that around. When this feud is done, we can break them up. And ipso facto, Sasha Banks near the top of the card. Number 6, Nia Jax. Now I think there's potential with Nia Jax. Everyone always gets mad and yells at her for some reason, and the negativity washes over my face and gets in my eyes, and it hurts. And the only thing I think WWE did that was a little bit silly was bring her back on that Raw after WrestleMania 36 to crickets. Not even crickets, because not even crickets were allowed in the Performance Center because of social distancing and all these words that we're now bored of. But hey ho, look, that's what they did. And there ain't no way that when Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler are done, the WWE isn't going to go, fine, finally, pull the trigger on the Nia Jax Becky Lynch feud. And it's just so obvious, it's so simple, because of everything that happened before Survivor Series, where Nia Jax punched Becky in the face and injured her, she couldn't be in the match. Then she went on to become the women's champ at WrestleMania 35. Look how easy that is to explain. And that's cool as well. Nia Jax does bring something unique to the women's division. She's all tough and scary, and again, looks like she's gonna beat you up. And yeah, you go, oh, but Tamina could do that. Yeah, but nobody meaner than Tamina other than Nia Jax, therefore Nia Jax goes first. Number 5, Elias. Maybe. I don't know what's gonna happen between Baron Corbin and Elias. Given the ending to their match at WrestleMania 36, you have to presume the feud is going to go on, and while Baron may get a few wins throughout that, ultimately the grand victor by the end should be Elias the Drifter, the man ding-ding-ding who plays guitar. And really, when we get there, now is the time to actually try to make something of this man, because he's been a good guy, he's been a bad guy, he's got great crowd reactions, he's got booed crowd reactions when that's what you've been going after. And sure, he's not the greatest wrestler in terms of in-ring that you've ever seen, but he's got his personality down, he knows who he is, he's not going to evolve more than he already has now. So finally, put him in an angle, put him in a program where we can see what he can do, because sometimes he does feel like a faceless dude just kind of drifting, the irony, drifting through the WWE. Give him something he can bite into. Let him do his songs, that's fine, people love that. But let me see where we get out of the other side. And you do have a stepping off point here as well. For all the negativity that Baron Corbin gets, he is a very good heel and people hate him. Therefore, they'll be pleased when Elias beats him, and you build him from there. Just give it a go. For the love of everything, give it a go, and just cease this whole stop, start. It gets very old very quickly. Number 4, Rhea Ripley. Now, when I do my ups and down show, as you may have seen, when I give the good bits an up and the bad bits a down, sometimes I'll just give an opinion on what WWE has done, but it doesn't mean that it's brutalized me to my soul, and it doesn't mean that I think WWE are a bunch of idiots. An opinion is an opinion. I want to make that clear, because now we are going to talk about Rhea Ripley. She lost her NXT title to Charlotte Flair at the Show of Shows, and would I have gone a different way? Yes, potentially, but I don't know what the story is, and I still think 2020 is going to be the Australians' year. Because look, let's face it, you can make an argument that Charlotte is actually the most important person in the entirety of WWE Women's Division, even more than the man, Becky Lynch, which means if you lose to her, it's not really that big of a deal. Double on that, if Rhea now gets her mojo back and her momentum and actually goes on to topple the Queen, well, there is your explanation. Oh my gosh, she must be brilliant. She took out Ric Flair's goal. In fact, use the fact that she did lose her goal to your advantage. Make her even meaner than Tamina. Make her so aggressive. Make her solely focused about winning that title back. She will go through everyone, and she will do whatever the hell she wants to do. I want to see an angle where Charlotte's eyes are wider than a fish's because she's just so scared about what's going to happen. And I get it, it's kind of like Shayna Baszler, but the difference is Shayna Baszler is a heel and Rhea Ripley is a face. I've already mentioned about legitimizing someone. If you do that with Rhea Ripley and still allow her to be herself because people clearly are warming to her personality, you have something here. Of course you do. And she can stay down at NXT for now, that's fine. NXT airs on the USA Network. She can win her belt back from Charlotte. Then you can decide what you want to do. But as and when you do move her to Raw and SmackDown, don't double think this one. She's good. She can have good matches with Becky, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Lacey Evans, you name it. In fact, Rhea Ripley is probably better than some of those names I've just thrown out there. Don't mess this one up. That was a bit much, turn that down. Final point, she's 23 years old. 23 years old. You can do whatever you want with a 23-year-old, and when she's 25, you're still gonna have the world at your feet. Number 3, Bianca Belair. And it was another shame because yes, it was announced officially on the Raw after WrestleMania 36 that Bianca Belair is officially on Monday nights. Obviously the disappointment was there was no noise other than the Street Profits. They were going crazy because of course it happened in an empty arena. And I know that I'm beating that to death with a big stick, but Bianca Belair has all the potential in the world. I would have liked some hooping and hollering. And teaming her with the Raw Tag Team Champions makes all the sense in the world too, because one, I'm counting again, one, she's married to Montez Ford, so they'll enjoy that, they'll have good chemistry, but two, those two dudes are just so pumped up and happy all the time, she can enter into that, and everybody will look at her and go, oh, she's such a positive piece of delight, I'm going to cheer her. If you haven't seen her in NXT, if you have seen her in NXT, you know, cheer her because she's a very good professional wrestler. Also, Belair is genuinely someone that WWE built from the ground up. They recruited her, they put her in the Performance Center, and ever since then, she's just improved and got better, and improved and got better, and evolved and progressed. You just know they want to shout about that, and you know what, WWE? You absolutely should. You have done a fabulous job. She also can go in the ring, has a damn good persona, and is an amazing athlete. What else do you need? What else do you need? Nothing. 2020, do what you gotta do. Number 2, Alistair Black. Do you know the 2 names that were considered to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 36? You know one because it happened Drew McIntyre, but the other person Paul Heyman was very keen on was Alistair Black. So right now, it's time to live up to that and push him to the moon. This is me looking at Alistair Black on the moon. I get he's kind of lost in no man's land at the moment because he beat Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania 36 to people going, okay, I mean, it was a decent match, but why? And then had an even stranger match with Apollo Crews on Raw. And I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was great, but you were allowed to go, why is Apollo Crews all of a sudden competitive with Alistair Black? Alistair Black's been kicking ass all year. I can't even remember the last time I saw Apollo Crews. He was he was hanging out with the walking biscuit known as Shorty G. That's the point. Listen to what I just said. For the majority of this year and the end of last year, WWE has done right by Alistair Black, and that's because they've got big plans. But hey, look, we've got months of television to fill, so it's time to turn those plans into reality that we see on the telly box. So surely now Alistair Black should start filling that role just before the main event, a guy you're keeping your eye on before he makes the huge leap and becomes world champion. I don't know how this works from a good guy, bad guy point of view, but hands up if you would like to see Drew McIntyre versus Alistair Black. Hell, even before he gets there, who would want to see Alistair Black, still up, versus Brock Lesnar? Who would want to see Alistair Black versus Seth Rollins? Who would want to see Alistair Black versus Roman Reigns? The hand will never come down because Alistair Black is great and he should be working with the cream of the crop. You can come down now. Thanks. Number 1, The Fiend. Or so I damn hope. And when we have already jumped through so many hoops when it comes to the brand new Bray Wyatt, I don't know what's round the corner. Like if I have a little peer now and I saw him dressed up as a sheep, I would go, well, that makes perfect sense because The Fiend Bray Wyatt, and I never know what I'm gonna get. But no matter what you thought of the Firefly Funhouse, the point of it was, the conclusion is that he finally got his revenge against John Cena and therefore now holds a victory over Big Match John. So finally, you can forget about everything that happened in Hell in a Cell 2019. You can forget about the fact that he lost to Goldberg, and really you can go down Bray Wyatt's list and go, the only 2 people he hasn't sought revenge on are The Undertaker and Randy Orton, and they're both still active wrestlers, so maybe we can build to that too. As long as we keep him away from the title scene and just allow him to have a bunch of feuds that he actually wins, we will then have rehabbed this character and not fallen into all the problems we made with the original Bray Wyatt, and that excites me because there's still something here. It's not dead, it will never be dead because he's Bray Wyatt, and the fact that even came from Bray Wyatt's head, I'm talking about the Firefly Funhouse, at WrestleMania 36, don't squander that. Don't squander creativity because it will lead you to the promised land. Also, if you need another reason to do this, apparently, rumors, speculation, but we'll go with it, Bray Wyatt is one of the biggest merchandise sellers in the company, so he's a babyface. WWE enjoys pushing babyfaces. Not true at all. They're now a heel company, which is weird because if you go back to any time when they were making all the money and doing all the crazy happy times, it's because they had a big babyface, and yet now they like to focus on the bad guys. Don't get it. 2020, post WrestleMania 36, push The Fiend and do it right. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know who you want WWE to push in 2020, and make sure you shout it loud and shout it proud. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to What Culture Wrestling. The button's right there. I'm looking at it right now. Then head over to WhatCulture.com, where you can read articles like this if you prefer to use your eyes. Follow What Culture on Twitter, What Culture WWE, and watch more videos here on what's it called? What Culture Wrestling. If you shouted that out, you're a little bit strange. My name is Simon from What Culture. Thank you as always for joining me, and I'll see you when I see you, because when I see you, I'll be seeing you.